Okay, here we go. Google Ads tutorial for beginners. This is exciting. First of all, you're going to unlock access to one of the greatest ways to reach people that we've ever seen. You get to take what people are typing in, their free-form response, and provide an answer. So first, you got to consider, let's talk about Google Ads first to start off. I mean, you may have never noticed, but when you search for something on Google, it has this little sponsored label that shows up, and these are the Google Ads. You'll also see ads on YouTube. That also runs through Google Ads. But today we're just going to talk about Google Search Ads. And it is a terrific place to get started because you get to choose what keywords you're going to show up when a user types in, and you get to intercept them right at the point that they're interested. They're searching for an answer, and you get to provide that answer. My name is Jake. More than $20 million in Google Ad spend. It also used to be known as Google AdWords, so that's part of the shift. There's something you gotta. So let's just look at it. So I typed in cheap affordable cars, and you can see right here there's some problems happening even just with these results. Cheap affordable cars. It should show me results for cars, right? But this is Utah Car Insurance, so they messed up on the terms that they're bidding for. Maybe they're trying to intercept people that are about to buy a car so they can get car insurance, but there's better terms, and that's something that we're going to focus on today. Is what are some of the terms that you could pick to make sure that you're showing up for the right searches. One of the benefits of Google Ads: the more relevant your ad is to that search query, to what they typed in, the better that your website is for that user experience. These are things that are going to decrease your cost, and you only pay when someone clicks on your ad. So you make a relevant ad that works for those people, and when they click on it, that's when you pay. So you don't pay just for showing your ad. So let's get started. Let's look at how you would set up a campaign. And so I've got this here in a new tab. This is Google Ads, new campaign. And when you come in here, one of the things that you're going to learn with Google is they want to make things really easy for you. But easy for you means that they are more in control. So as we set up Google Ads, we're going to constantly try to take back control, as much control as we can from Google, so that we're in control of what we're setting up and what we're doing. So we're going to come down here to the bottom, and we're going to click Switch to Expert Mode. So don't use their tutorial. It's going to get you stuck in doing what's best for Google, and we're going to do what's best for you and for your business. So you got to consider what first of all does your business do? Are you looking for people for store visits? Are you a local business? Do you have a website? Are you looking for leads? Are you looking for sales? But again, we don't have to use their guidance. We can come right here, create an account without a campaign, and then this is where we would submit our business information. And you're just going to choose your time zone, your country, and your currency. These are all accurate for me. They know where I am, so we'll click submit, and we'll click explore your account, and there you go. We've started the process of setting up our own Google Ads account. So again, we have to decide what we're doing. So let's just look, for example, at some of these ads. So they're trying to sell cars. Here, this is car, and as you look at these ads, you can see that there's a headline, there's some text here, and then there's some little highlighted links that are below, and even an address that happens below. And this one doesn't have an address, it's highlighting a deal. Let's pretend, for the example of this, that we are cars.com. And based on that search query, so we're just going to start and assume that that's what we have. We have cheap, affordable cars, and that's what we're going to try to show people. So this page doesn't really have a call to action. But the first thing I would want to do is, if I know that this is a great term, and we'll go through terms later, the kind of terms that we want to show up for. If I know that this is a great term, then I want this term to show up on the page that I go to, and if I can, I want to put it in the title of the page and in the URL of the page. So if I was setting up my own, I would say cars.com, and I'm going to have a page on that site that's called cheap affordable cars, and it's going to say cheap cars in the title of that page. Okay, so I don't have that page on this site, but that's where I would start. I'm going to force Google's hand. I'm going to be as relevant as possible to the search queries that I know are great. So again, we're going to come down. You can see here, I just clicked create a campaign without a goals guidance. And in this video, we're going to focus on search. But you can see like the offering that Google provides video. You can run your ads on YouTube. Shopping, I can show you what shopping ads look like. If you just click on that shopping tab, you'll see these are the different shopping listings. Again, but there's a wealth of ways to advertise with Google. So we're just going to focus on that search. So search is the search ads that show up there. So we'll click search, and we'll do website visits. But yeah, if your business gets leads and sales from phone calls, you can do phone calls, or you can do app downloads. We're going to go with website visits. So Google's going to guide me along here. You see this little thing, and we're going to keep doing what we can to maintain control. So we don't have conversions set up in this account, so we're going to stay with clicks because that will help us. And of course, we want to set a maximum cost per click bid. And we don't want to allow Google to spend whatever they want to spend. Okay, so in this one, I would start low. I start low to start seeing where my ads start showing up. Okay, so this is already, these are some big things. Google search partners can perform very differently than the Google search campaign. So I would set that up as its own campaign. So if I was going to run just Search Network, I would set up in a different campaign, or if I was going to do Google Display Network, I would do that in a different campaign. I'm trying to get to the lowest, to where I can maintain control, so I can see which networks are performing. So I'm going to turn off all the other ones so that I know, and then I can maintain control over where those ads are showing. Once I find a good keyword, a good ad then I can come back and explore the possibilities with the search partners or with Google Display Network. But we're trying to keep things as simple as possible. This is another big thing. This is Google's recommended, and it says presence or interest. People in, regularly in, or who've shown interest in your targeted locations, and that's their recommended. So again, we're gonna shift and we're gonna take control back from Google. This is the one that I've had the most success with. It's presence, people in or regularly in your targeted locations. If you choose presence or interest, that first one, you get a lot of people from outside your area that maybe they're searching for information about your area, but you don't really know because Google doesn't tell you. So if they're not going to tell me, then I'm gonna take that control back and I'm gonna show it just to people that are in my targeted location, especially if I'm a local business. I wanted to show it in an area, and so let's use that now as an example. If I were a local business and I am located in Heber City, Utah, I want to show you some of the different options. So I can target just Heber City. I can target the whole county. I can target just the zip code. But if we go to advanced search, we can even put in an address and do a radius around that address. So I'm just gonna put in something for an example. Of course, it's gonna take a second to load here with just a simpler input here. As we do this, we can get down. It starts on 1 mile radius because I'm in the United States, but if we want it even closer, we can choose kilometers. So we can make the circle even smaller and get a really tight area that we're targeting. Oh, I did that in the wrong place. Do it right here, and you'll see that circle change. So now I can target a really tight area. And this is beneficial because later, as I'm looking at locations, I can compare how different locations are performing. Again, I'm trying to get down to small units so that I can optimize. So if I were promoting a local business that was located on Main Street, I would start with a small circle as I figured out my keywords, as I figured out my ads, and then I might expand or add another circle so that I could then test to see how I would do farther away. But we could go in, we could add, this is back on location. But now we could add the whole city, and now we have something to compare against. So I could compare the performance within that circle against the whole city, and I could add neighboring cities to see how they perform. Okay, so now I can target that city and see how it performs with the keyword that I'm going to set up, with the ad that I'm going to set up. Again, I'm trying to get to small units so that I can optimize and know what's actually working and have a comparable value. Okay, so my target would be English, but you can select languages, and especially if you're in an area where you know another language is spoken, you can target that as well. They have audience segments, but this is definitely a more advanced thing. You don't have to add anything here. But we can look at that another time. So a lot of times when I'm starting an ad, I don't want Google to predict the winner for me, so I want to allow them to rotate just indefinitely, and that Google won't start to show one more than another. Once we figured out which one is good, we can go and switch to optimize or even pause the ones that are performing worse. You can set an ad schedule, so if your business is only open certain days of the week, or you only have someone that can answer the phone at certain times, then you're going to want to set an ad schedule, and you just can select the days and put in the times that you are open or available, and that way you're not spending or getting clicks or calls when no one's there to answer. And that's really the large part of this first screen. Okay, so now it's pulled that page in that I put, and you can see it suggesting a pretty wide variety of keywords based on that page that I put in. But our focus was on cheap, affordable cars, and it went out. I'm going to show you. This is called an exact term, and you can see it right down here. It's displayed for you. So I'm going to put my keyword in these little brackets so that it is an exact term. And Google over the years has made this less and less exact. They'll show your terms. If somebody searches for something similar to that, you might show up, but you're trying to get these small units that you can optimize for. So I want it to make it as focused as possible. I am not going to use broad match ever when I'm starting, and I'm likely not going to use phrase match when I'm starting. I want to start with exact match so I can see, okay, is this term actually the one that's helping me to get those sales and leads that I need? And you can see all the description. I wish it would allow me to show this bigger, but broad match is going to allow you're going to show up for a lot of similar terms. That's not just a cheap, affordable car, and I even spelled it wrong. So it's going to make it very broad, and it's going to allow Google to stretch the reach of that ad, but it's going to be terms that you're likely not ready for, and they're not super relevant to your business. Phrase match used to be a lot better, but Google has expanded it. So I invite you, and I don't want to make this video too long, but I invite you to look at phrase match, look at exact match, and broad match, and see how Google expands those. But this is my advice. Start with exact match. If it works, then you could try that same term in phrase match and start to see like the different kind of keywords that are coming through for you. So if this was my business, again, I'm going to set up a page that is called cheap, affordable. That way it forces me to be relevant to what these people are searching for, and it'll let Google know. And if I can get it into my display path, I'm going to put it here as well. All of this, I'm trying to increase the relevance of my ad to that search query, which is why I don't want Google to expand the different search queries that I can show up for, because I'm trying to make it as targeted as possible. Okay, it's too long. What if we do? But even, look now, Google's catching on. I'm making this campaign around this term, and they're saying, yeah, let's include that in a headline. And that is good advice. So I would do the same. I'm going to include this term that I'm targeting because that's the keyword I'm bidding on in my ad title. Man, and I'm not spelling well here. It's going so okay, cheap, affordable car. And I can expand upon that and make different variations of it and include a call to action if there's space. Too long. is my first. We have the makings of a great keyword ad and page because we're making all around the same term. And so I would do several variations of this and add some other calls to action or things in these different headlines. And the next thing is I'm going to try to work it into a description as well. I want that term to show up as many times as I can within the ad. I might even build out a site link because I have this page called Cheap Affordable Cars. And if I have time, I'm going to build out a site link that also has that term. I hope you can see the pattern that's evolving here. We're trying to force that relevance onto Google and not allow them to expand what they're doing with our ad. Anyways, this is where you add site links, and site links are those things that were showing up in the bottom. So I get to make my ad bigger, and now I get to show more relevant things. Lost my ad. And sometimes Google knows your search history. Okay, so these are site links, these little blue text that show up underneath. And this is the way to make a really robust ad is you have your title and your description, but everybody has that. Now you're gonna add site links. If you're a local company, you're gonna add your address. You're gonna add the hours that you're open. You're gonna add your phone number to try to really build out your ad and make it as big as possible. So now that you're getting a higher click-through rate, so that Google will show your ad more. And that is all done in these asset types. So you can add callouts, you can add promotions, you can add a phone number. And this is how you win the game. You're forcing relevance with your keyword. You're putting that keyword into your ads. You have that keyword on your pages. And now you're building out site links and you're building out all these ad assets to make your ad as big as possible. So if you have a different URL that you use for mobile, and I do this sometimes when some web pages get really big and bloated, so I'll use a different mobile web page that will load quickly, and this is where you would put that. This is really how you get started. If you follow my few little tips here in this first video, it will make your first campaign a lot more successful. It might not open huge, but you're gonna learn. You're gonna be able to learn from what is happening. You're gonna say, okay, is this a good term? Should we build out more terms based on this term? Is this a good page? Because you're getting down to one keyword. You're putting that keyword in the ad. You're putting it in your page. You're gonna put it into your ad assets to try to force that relevance. And it's not only what Google wants for that person that clicks on your ad and then visits your page, because your page will be relevant to what they searched for. So this is our Google Ads tutorial for beginners. I'll make more videos to follow up on what we do. Thanks for watching. Click like, click subscribe. Check out our next video as we build upon this. This is the foundation, and it gets a lot better